So, just a quick reminder though, remember you need to start the exam before Monday at 3 p.m. And when you hit start on the exam, you're going to have 420 minutes, aka you're going to have 6 hours to do the entire exam from when you hit start to when you finish. So if the internet goes out, you're okay. Obviously, it's open book, open note. And we're asking for you guys, obviously, to apply the knowledge that you have gotten in the class so far. Make sure with those prompts, you're answering each of those questions individually, fully. So it's easy to think like, oh, great, I answered the question. You answered one of the 4 questions for that short answer. So make sure you're answering each of the parts for those prompts. As far as exercise conditions for elderly, just keep in mind that older folks typically have some type of underlying issue, could be some joint issue, or otherwise just from living a very long life. So you typically want to start easier than you would with a young, healthy person and progress at a slower rate so that we're not overtaxing them. So like anything else, we just want to make sure we're applying an appropriate amount of stress so we're not going to be injuring the individuals. Just like if you're working with kids, you're not going to expect them to make as much progress, specifically when we're talking about strength and power improvements from training. And if anything, we just want to make sure we've got really good movement, we've got a decent amount of work capacity, and hopefully a enjoyment of physical activity, since hopefully they're gonna be doing that for the rest of their life. So what other questions would you guys like me to go ahead and review on to talk about? And otherwise, yep, make sure you've taken the final quiz for chapter 16. We've got all of your, well, it's cumulative, but I've got all of your homework grades. They should be updated appropriately now. I'll go through to make sure everything's in there correctly. So you can figure out, based upon the math of the available points for the semester, effectively, what you need to get in order to get an A, B, C, or D. If you guys get an 89.999, please do not be emailing me asking for the A. Get the 90% or more. Now, obviously, there is that physiological breakdown extra credit opportunity you can do, as well as the King of the Hill option. Whoever gets the highest overall score on the King of Hill gets an immediate 50 points of extra credit. So I thoroughly suggest doing it. No matter what, by doing it, you're going to receive extra credit points, whatever. It's only 1/10 of a point per correct response, but it's a way that you could probably get anywhere from 2 to maybe even the highest I think I've seen is a little over 10 points of extra credit from taking that. Plus, it'll help you review for the exam. So, any other questions, comments, concerns that I can go ahead and talk through for you guys? Okay. Yeah, no worries. The limits of speed, like anything else, myosin can only contract at a certain rate. So, effectively, the muscles can only shorten at a certain velocity. We're only going to be able to get our bones to move at a certain speed. We can only produce so much force to overcome so much wind resistance to move through space in certain speeds. Our nervous system can only send signals at certain rates. If we can use reflexes, we can send even faster responses than if we can avoid having to go through all the central processing, which naturally is going to slow things down. We also want to go ahead and, look at effective limitations for those chemical messages and how quickly they can be sent. So all of those are going to be things that are going to be contributing to the limits in speed. So as far as hormones, you really want to effectively know all of them that we discussed in the class. So really anything from glucose regulation. So we've got insulin and we've got glucagon. We've got growth hormone effects. We've got essentially fluid levels. So we've got aldosterone, angiotensin, and then obviously antidiuretic hormone and how those are going to influence it. We've got our stress hormone of cortisol. We've got our sympathetic nervous system hormones, which is going to be our epinephrine, norepinephrine. We've got our sex hormones, which is going to be testosterone, estradiol, and the variations based upon them, or within variations around there, and our thyroid hormone, that effectively are all going to be working on our resting metabolic rate and controlling our body. And then the signaling cascades are going to be related to all of them. So which are going to be important acutely and are going to change for performance. Just allow us to exercise well and then recover from that exercise. And then what are going to be important the rest of the day, just to control our body and maintain that homeostasis we're looking for. So it's a lot, because it's a lot. And thinking about how all those are going to be contributing in one way, shape, or another to performance. Both one acutely, meaning while we're doing it, and then obviously chronically. So we're talking about, the 24 hours a day and how that's going to influence health and recovery. Each of the chapters, keep in mind, we're talking about, we go from chapter 1 where we're talking about muscle physiology, to we're talking about the energy systems and how they're going to contribute to performance, how they're going to change with training. We're going into then the neurological system, how that's going to be influencing our performance and why it's important in a variety of different ways. We've got then endocrinology. Then we start getting into the cardiophysiology of the heart, the circulatory system, and the blood, 3 different components of it, the pulmonary system, how we're going to go ahead and have those changing due to aerobic training and anaerobic training, along with the basic principles of training. Then obviously we're getting into how we're going to go with resistance training, along with talking through things like, the basic, not just the application of training. So under training, acute overload, functional and non-functional overreaching and overtraining, along with the effects of how we're going to thermoregulate through conduction, convection, evaporation, and radiation, along with, then we've got the joys of training for sport and using drugs and or ergogenic aids and how they're going to be useful, and then working with young folks and working with the old folks. So a lot of stuff that we went through, and it's important to obviously make sure you understand the concepts from all of the chapters. Like, what are the big principles? Because that's a lot of what the questions on your exam are going to be like. And there is no lab this week. We all voted on Monday, and you guys decided you did not want to have a lab, so that's fine. That's, you guys don't have to worry about coming in on Friday. Spend the time reviewing as well. If you guys want to go ahead and send me any other questions you come up with, I can always try to do a quick little, kind of doc in the box thing of recording myself talking through the answer, and then from there, posting that accordingly so you guys can go ahead and look at it. So yeah, no worries. So effectively, the chemical limitation of processing speed in the brain is literally the speed at which saltatory conduction goes through the brain, along with the speed at which those neurotransmitters are going to move through that synaptic cleft to go on to the next one to cause another graded potential, along with we've got the effects of just sheer energetic availability. So ATP, how quickly we can turn it over aerobically. Obviously, brain has got really good blood flow, so hopefully that's never going to be a limiting factor. But like anything else, notice those are all going to be natural limits on how quickly things can go. Computers can think faster than us because it's an electrical signal, and it doesn't have to go where it goes in the body, where it goes from electrical to chemical and back to electrical. So you're going to naturally have that delay. So hence, the Terminator films would be really, really disappointing and sad to watch, because humans would lose really fast. Machines can react so much faster than we can. It would be like, if for any of you guys that ever had the luck, or I should say the lack of luck, of having to fight someone who's inebriated because they are deciding to fight you, suddenly you feel like you're this great fighter because they can't seemingly throw a punch to hit you because they're moving so slowly. And it gives you quite the advantage. And I am gleefully no longer in the chapter of my life where I have to worry about drunks fighting me. With that being said, any other questions you guys want me to go ahead and review on or talk through? All right, guys, so keep thinking, come up with something, shoot me an email. I'll put something up so you guys can go ahead and look through it. Otherwise, do the King of the Hill thing for extra credit opportunities. Make sure you guys have turned in, obviously, our other assignments, and make sure you start the exam before 3 p.m. on Monday. If you started after then, it won't let you start, and you're going to get a goose egg out of 105 possible points. That's going to really, really hurt your grade. So stay safe out there, guys. Thank you guys for a good semester where, let's face it, COVID has not been a party, but I think we've all gotten through it okay, doing our best. So stay safe out there. Don't be a stranger if I see you guys around in the future. Take care of yourselves, and hopefully I will see you guys more in person in the fall for those of you guys that are not going to be graduating. So without further ado, have a great day, guys. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.